So I'm audible to all of you? Okay. So let's start our current affairs session. Unfortunately, yesterday I was not able to take that session, but today we are going to take this session, and I'll cover last 4 to 5 days, or even last 8 to 10 days, all related economy and finance related important news. Okay. So let's start. If you'll see last 8 to 10 days, we have heard lot of news from rather than from regarding trade agreements. Trade agreements, right? India is discussing the trade agreement between South Korea, right? India is discussing trade agreement with the UK. India is discussing trade agreement with Australia. Though we already have the trade agreement with South Korea, but still there are few things which we are supposed to discuss with South Korea. And almost on daily basis, there is a news in the newspaper regarding any of these three. If you will see last 10 years, 10 days question paper, newspaper, sorry, you will find news related to free trade agreement or trade agreement with all these countries. Apart from these countries, there is a general statement regarding the trade agreement by our minister concerned for the trade and agreement, means Ministry of Corporate Affairs, and he is making this statement regarding the trade agreements. Right. So let's discuss this thing in detail. I'll start with this. What India UK free trade agreement set to begin, but the fate of early harvest deal is uncertain. So when we talk about the trade agreement, there are few terms are frequently used. One is free trade agreement. Another term is used negative list. Negative negative list. Another term also used positive list. Right. Then comprehensive economic trade agreement. Right. There are two kind of comprehensive economic trade agreement. I'll discuss all these things today in this session. Right. So first of all, we are in discussion with these two countries, UK and Australia, for free trade agreement. Right. We are having a discussion with these two countries, whereas with South Korea, we already have the highest form of the agreement. In this means a following PDF, I'll show you with which country we have what kind of the trade agreement. But right now we are having a discussion with these two countries, UK and Australia, right? And in this regard, this news was in the newspaper, and even now the trade in this news you can see that it is written here, set to begin. It's already begun right now. Today means it is already begun, but I take the reference. So in order to understand all these key terms, I'll first, you can see this name, David Ricardo, right? So David Ricardo, in his work, Principle of Political Economy and Taxation, he has given the theory of comparative advantage. What is comparative advantage? I'll just give you an example why countries generally they do go for the trade agreement. You will get this thing very easily. For example, two countries are here, India and Sri Lanka, right? Both country are producer of tea. Both country produces tea, right? So if India will do an agreement with Sri Lanka, right? And under that agreement, we will allow cheap Sri Lankan tea in Indian market, right? Cheap Sri Lankan tea in Indian market because labor cost is relatively less in Sri Lanka and their transportation cost is also less in comparison to India, right? So their cheap tea is going to be in the Indian market. Then definitely it is going to hurt Indian tea market, right? So if it is going to hurt Indian tea market, is it right to have an agreement with them? Is it right to have an agreement with them? Yes or no? We should go for the agreement with them or not? Most people will think that no, we should not go for this agreement, right? But when Ricardo has explained this comparative advantage, he, according to him, we must have to go for this trade agreement. Why and how? If we will go with the trade agreement with Sri Lanka, then in that case, for our domestic consumption, all the Sri Lankan tea which is coming to the Indian market in our country, there is a high domestic demand of the tea. We all of the Indians we consume the tea at very large level. So our domestic demand is very high. That is why our quality tea means if we will compare the quality of tea of India and quality of tea of Sri Lanka. So our tea, especially which is coming from the northeastern area, that is very high quality of tea, right? Darjeeling tea. So that is very high quality of tea. But because of the high domestic consumption, we are not able to export in the very much manner. So what we are going to do? We are going to allow cheap Sri Lankan tea in our Indian market, and at the same time, we will promote our export of the tea to European and American market, right? So the domestic demand pressure is going to be taken by Sri Lanka, whereas India's better quality tea will be able and available for the export. So it is going to advantage Sri Lanka as well as India. So there is a comparative advantage, right? So this is what he called comparative advantage theory. So when two countries will go for trade agreements, A and B, there are two countries, so they always find that ki, okay, if we will go for trade agreement, it is going to be mutually benefit for both of us. This is the principle and basis for the trade agreement, right? So this is the basic fundamental principle when we will go for the trade agreement. Now, in order to make it possible, what we do when we go for the agreement, we did the agreement with Sri Lanka, but we have not reduced any taxes and tariff put by Indian government on Sri Lankan tea. So if we are not going to decrease taxes and tariff the tea which is coming from the Sri Lanka to India, then there will be no impact, right? So whenever we will go for trade agreement, what we will do basically, we will decrease taxes and duties on product which are coming from other country. So this is one of the basic principle while doing the trade agreement with other countries, right? Trade agreement with other countries. So this is the basic principle how we will go for the trade agreement, in what manner we will go for it, right? So we will prepare the list of goods which we are going to sell or which we are going to export Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka will also prepare a list which he is supposed to export to India. Right. So both agreed, okay, we will decrease the tea, means we will decrease the taxes and duties on tea. But at the same time, when we go for natural rubber, natural rubber, so the same quality of natural rubber is produced in India. Same quality of natural rubber is produced in Sri Lanka. Right. So in this case, what will happen? if we will also decrease, if we will also decrease taxes and duties on Sri Lankan rubber in India, that is going to be severely impact our tree natural rubber industry. So when we prepare the list, India will prepare the list and Sri Lanka will prepare the list. So India is going to put natural rubber as a negative. Means we are going to decrease the taxes and tariff on all other goods except what? Except natural rubber. Except natural rubber, whatever you are going to send to India, we will decrease the taxes and duties. Right? We will decrease the taxes and duties. So this is what we mean a negative list in the trade agreement. Negative list in the trade agreement. This is under negative list. For example, UK and India. UK and India, it is not right now, since last 10 to 15 years, we are thinking about to go for FTA. But earlier, UK was part of EU. Right. So we have to go for this India and EU trade agreement. Right. India is saying that when these negotiations were going on, India was saying that we want alcohol in negative list. Why? European alcohol and alcohol made products, they are very fine and their prices are comparatively low if we will compare high quality of alcohol produced in India. Right. So if European alcohol or British alcohol will be introduced in India, then it is going to destroy our local market. Right. So India want alcohol products in the negative list. Similarly, our techies means our technology people who are working in the tech industry, especially the computer ITC, means information communication and technology industry. India is saying that we want to send our professionals there, but EU want this in the negative list. So we have a negative list, they also have a negative list, and there is a conflict between both of us. That is why this agreement is not happening. Now UK is apart from EU, and with the fresh look, India and UK is trying to do this agreement. I hope you got the understanding of negative list. Clear? What is negative list? Similarly, when we say that, for example, right now, positive list. Also understand positive list. Example is Afghanistan. So we are going to just make a list of goods. We asked Afghanistan, we told Afghanistan, see my dear, whatever the product you are going to send to our country, for example, like dry fruits, right, and other things, whatever you are going to send in our country, we are going to decrease taxes and duties. So when there is a list of goods, only those list of the goods where we just agree, okay, these are the goods where we are going to decrease the taxes and duties. Right. So the agreement is on that number of goods. Okay, okay, okay. Means what? Positive list. What is positive list? Because we are going to have an agreement only those number of goods which can be sent by them, and we will decrease the duty and taxes. But if the list is comprised of both positive goods and negative goods, then it is known as free trade agreement. But if it is comprised of only positive goods, means the list of goods where we are going to decrease the taxes and duties, it is known as preferential trade agreement. So this is preferential trade agreement. This is what? This is free trade agreement. So if somebody is going to ask what is the difference between preferential trade agreement and free trade agreement, I hope you understood this thing. Preferential trade agreement means what? We will share the list of goods where I am going to decrease the taxes and duties. So if India and Afghanistan have a preferential trade agreement, right? So preferential trade agreement means India have X, Y, Z goods and Afghanistan have A, B, C goods, right? So if these goods will be sent by India to Afghanistan, right? If these goods are going to be sent by India to Afghanistan, then taxes and duties will be decreased. Whereas if these goods are going to be sent by Afghanistan to India, then these goods are going to be cheaper. Why? Taxes and duties are going to be decreased. Right? Now, for example, India and Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka told us M, N, O. M, N, and O are in negative list. Means if M, N, and O, I am considering all 26 alphabets as a goods, right? So Sri Lanka said that to India, for me, M, N, and O are negative goods. Same time, India said that X, Y, Z. X, Y, Z is the negative good for us, right? What it means that. So India and Sri Lanka shared the negative list. India said that if you will send XYZ to India, you are Sri Lanka. India told Sri Lanka, what if you are going to send these goods to India, we are going to not reduce any taxes and duties. Same time, Sri Lanka also told India कि if you are going to send these goods, we are not going to decrease the taxes and duties. What it means that? It means that rest of the goods, apart from these six goods, rest of the 20 goods are under free trade agreement. So here the trade is going to be in the large number of goods at low taxes and tariff. Whereas in the trade of India and Afghanistan, only six goods are under the trade. Only six goods are under the trades, whereas in India, Sri Lanka, 20 goods are under trade. So this is why free trade agreement is a larger trade agreement in comparison to preferential trade agreement. Understood this point? Clear? Now, CEC and CEPA. Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, Comprehensive Economic Cooperation Agreement. So here is a cooperation agreement, here it is a partnership. So we have partnership agreement between South Korea and Japan, and we have comprehensive economic cooperation agreement with Malaysia. Right? With Malaysia, we have what? We have cooperation agreement and we have partnership agreement with whom? With Japan and South Korea. And I have clearly mentioned what is the difference. List of positive, negative goods with regulatory aspects of the trade. Regulatory aspects. One of the regulatory aspect is duties and taxes. So under FTA, we decrease this taxes and duties. Under this FTA, we only agree to decrease the taxes and duties. Whereas if we will go for trade regulatory aspects, then things like GST regime of India and similar kind of the tax regime of Malaysia, is also going to be discussed, and it will be discussed in such a manner so that any kind of barrier will not impact India's trade to Malaysia and Malaysia's trade to India. So if any law related barrier, in India, so government of India will remove that barrier, law based barrier. And if there is a barrier from Malaysia is also going to remove the barrier. Classic example. With Malaysia is what? We import palm oil from two countries, Indonesia and Malaysia. Right? Indonesia and Malaysia. These are the two largest exporter country of palm oil to India. Right? And India is world's largest importer of palm oil, and India purchases from these two countries. So, how this trade regulatory aspects is going to help? Right now, Royal Malaysian Air Force is looking for light combat fighter jet. And India is offering LCA Tejas. So India and Malaysia already have this CECA. So what will happen if they are going to okay this LCA Tejas? If they are going to okay with LCA Tejas with unit price of $40 million, one LCA Tejas is going to cost $40 million to Malaysia. Then Malaysia need not to pay dollar. What they can do, they can simply go for barter. You can transfer the jets, and in against those jets price, whatever the price you are going to quote, we will pay you in terms of palm oil. So because India and Malaysia have this understanding of regulatory aspects, so this can be happen there. So this is how CECA is having the larger ambit than FTA. Okay. Now when we will go move towards what? CEPA. Then till then here we was discussing about goods, right, and services. But when we go for partnership agreement, then we are also going to discuss and negotiate apart from goods, services, and especially investment. Right? Investments are going to be also part of this agreement. Means if Korean company or if Japanese company is going to invest in India, right? Because with these two countries we have this kind of CEPA. So under the partnership agreement, some special relaxation will be given to what? Special relaxations will be given to Korean companies and Japanese companies because India have this CEPA with these two countries. So some trade, tariff, taxes related benefits will not only be given in the goods but also in services and especially in the investment. You can see that most of the car manufacturing companies are from where? Japanese and Koreans. Whereas Ford Motor, the General Motors of US, they just made the announcement that we are leaving India. They are leaving India because they have some other issues. Right? It is not because we do not have a CEPA, that's why they are moving out of India. But what I am trying to make you understand, for Japanese company and Korean companies, it is much easier to invest in India in comparison to any other countries of the world. Okay, so I hope you got this understanding of the difference between all these things. So for your information and knowledge, we do have agreement with these two countries, that is CEPA. With Malaysia we have CECA. FTA is an example of Sri Lanka, and there are other examples also. But how they are going to ask this question in the exam? We are right now negotiating FTA with two countries. Which countries? UK and Australia. But as those people who are aware of these things, they know that they know that India is aiming, or other countries are aiming to reach either here or here. So when we start the foreign trade agreement negotiations with UK and Australia, our aim is to either reach here or reach here, right? But as I told you, lot of debate and discussions are being there, and it is very sensitive issue. If you remember last year, the Comprehensive Economic Cooperation Agreement, the Comprehensive Economic Cooperation Agreement that was signed between many countries, China, right? Entire ASEAN, New Zealand, Australia. So one biggest agreement was signed where the China plus entire ASEAN, Australia plus New Zealand. And India was also supposed to be the part of this agreement, right? But at the very last moment, India backtracked. India said, no, we are not going to be the part of this because this will allow low taxes on especially agricultural and dairy products. Agricultural and dairy products of all these countries, there will be the inflow in the India, and it is going to impact our market. So we are ready to think, but whatever we are going to get against this loss, what the benefit we are going to get, that is not appropriate. So India has finally backtracked. So it is very sensitive issue to go for what? To go for these kind of agreement, FTA, CECA or CEPA. So that is why we will go for what? We will go for early harvest deal. Early harvest deal, what? We will do the agreement for some products. We will go an agreement on some products rather than going for this one directly. We will go for FTA, and under FTA we will do the trade agreement for some goods, and we will observe, okay, X, A, B, C, and D. On four products, we went for what? Early harvest agreement. Okay. We are going to decrease the taxes, duties, and other things on these product, and let's see how it is going to work. If it is going to work, then we will also include other goods, and we will reach either here or here. And if it is not going to happen, then we will limit ourselves to only FT. So what early harvest deal means? Early harvest deal means is कि when to develop a higher level of understanding, we will start cooperating in some small areas. So for some goods, we will decrease the taxes and duties, and some goods, Australia is going to decrease the taxes and duties, and then we will examine the impact on Indian economy and impact on Australian economy. If things are going fine and there is no issue here and no issue there, then we will further negotiate on other things. So for this purpose, we do the early harvest agreement. And India committed a mistake when they have signed this agreement between South Korea and Japan. We didn't went for the early harvest agreement. That is why this CEPA have benefited Japan and South Korea much better in comparison to India. So India was not able to take the benefit of that agreement like Japan and South Korea did. Right? So that's why India is pushing right now South Korea कि we want to renegotiate this, because what agreement we did in the past, that agreement is only benefiting you, not us. Right? So we want to renegotiate. So that is why South Korea also is in news. Okay? I hope you got this understanding. Clear? Is it clear? Any doubt? Okay. Yes, we can renegotiate the deals. We can renegotiate the deals, but it is little bit more complicated, and it is also if it is not mutual. For example, India say that ki we want to cancel this deal, right? We are canceling this CEPA. India can do it. South Korea can do it. Even India, Japan can move it. Means unilaterally you can backtrack yourself. There is always an option. But this unilateral backtracking is going to impact on your image as a destination for investment, as a destination for business and other things. So that is why rather than taking any unilateral action, it is better to sit and negotiate mutually and just tell them ki see we are having these issues in last 10 years. This is what India and South Korea is negotiating, and South Korea is very positive towards Indian concerns, right? They are very positive ki, okay, we understand your concern. So it is better to discuss and negotiate rather than taking any unilateral action which is going to impact on your image, right? For example, you are a bank officer, right? And some at a point of time there is some issue with the guard or some lower staff, right? So he came to your cabin and he started shouting, right? So if you are also going to start shouting, so why you are an officer, right? So you have to show that integrity of that post. First listen very carefully why he is shouting, what are the reasons, right? And it is better to discuss the issue with talks, right? Rather than you stand up and I'll see you started punching and fighting, and people will put it on the social media. See how RBI Grade B officer become what, a fighter, right? So these things happen sometimes. This, for example, last year one passport officer in US, his video went viral. So you are in foreign services. Foreign services means what? Foreign services are the kind of delicate services where you have to be what? You have to listen more and speak less, right? So, but you are behaving in this manner, right? So, this is why this kind of the unilateral actions in the trade agreements, they are not very good for country's image. Fine. This is why we do not do this thing. Okay, so I hope you got this point. Let's move to this news. Actually, this news itself have no relevance. This news, each SMEs loses 67 lakh a year due to legacy system. So this news itself is not very important. The term used here is very important. Once you will understand this point, automatically it will be very clear. So my objective to have this news, I just want to let you know what is neo banking. Neo banking is a kind of bank. Actually, it is a fintech. A company which is basically working on technology, and they are providing financial solutions. So those companies who are providing financial solutions but only with the use of technology or largely with the use of technology, they are known as fintech. So is Paytm is a fintech or not? Is Paytm is a fintech? Yes, no physical appearance. Is Paytm is a fintech? What about Google? Can we say that Google is a fintech? Is Google is a fintech? No. Google is not a fintech. Google is a company, right? Google is a company which also provides fintech solutions in terms of Google Pay. So Google Pay is an arm of Google. You cannot call it fintech Google. Google is not a fintech. Google is providing fintech solutions. Paytm is a kind of company which is only doing this fintech business, so that is why it is a fintech. But Google is not a fintech. Google is providing only what? Certain kind of payment services. Even Google do not provide wallet services. So Google do not come under the category of what? Google do not come under the category of neither fintech, not the neobanking. For your understanding, those who are providing the wallet services, apart from the payment services through UPI, they are also providing this services of wallet services where you can maintain the wallet. They are what? They are under fintech, right? And if any fintech is providing all banking solutions, listen very carefully. Any fintech plus partner bank, fintech plus partner bank, they are providing banking solution. So this joint venture is known as neobank, right? This joint venture is known as neobank or neobanking. Now this legacy system and this SME, small and medium enterprises. So for credit and loan, small medium enterprises have to go to the bank, right? They have to deploy their resources to deal with the bank, right? And this dealing with the bank is have a cost aspect. You have to deploy your resources, which take a lot of time to go for realizing the things of credit and other things. So a lot of resources you have to deploy because you need credit, and that credit is basically based in the physical form. Go to the bank branch, submit all those documents, right? Whereas if it is a fintech based new banking solution, then most of the things are going to be happen. 99% things are going to be happen in the online system, and it will be easier for you to transact the business. So this is why they have used this news. 67 lakh rupees lost due to the legacy system each and every year. So this solution. And one example is Razorpay. So Razorpay is a kind of what? Gateway. Through Razorpay X, with collaboration with some bank, Razorpay is providing new banking solution. Right? I hope you got this understanding. Google is a company. Google is a company which providing a lot of solutions, but it is not a fintech company. Financial assistance through technology. Financial assistance is a completely different term. You cannot use this financial assistance, right? Government is providing financial assistance, right? Government is giving its own money, right? Banks are providing financial assistance, right? They are giving their money. Google is what? Google is taking from here, giving to there. Google is not using their own money. Google people are very smart, right? They are not using their money. So they are providing assistance for payment services, right? They are providing the assistance for the financial services. But the term is incorrect. They are providing financial assistance. They are providing assistance to deliver the financial assets. Delivery of the financial assets, they are providing the assistance. So there is a big difference between these two terms. Yes, you can say that. Yes, it means that an assistance in the banking and finance domain through the technology. Yes, this is the best definition. This is the best definition. Right. So I hope new banking point is clear. So let's move this news where India must strive to be among top 25 global innovation index. Right. So this kind of the news means in banking exam, PO, clerk, RBI, where the tier 1 and GA is there. Right. So this is one of the favorite news, favorite news of banking exams. In recent global innovation index rating, India's rank was right. It it is a kind of nonsense thing generally they do ask. It is not appropriate, especially if you are going to appear in the grade B kind of the exam or SEBI kind of the exam or even pure probationary officer exam, right? These kind of the information is okay for clerical level, but such kind of the information they are asking, maybe they are asking at tier 1 level, right, or phase 1 level, whatever you want to say, it is not appropriate, but because they are asking, so we have to what, we have to go through that. So recently this global innovation index was being there, and under that India got the ranking of 46. So India's rank was earlier in 2014 76, now it is 46 in 2021. So significant jump in last few years, right? In last 5 years, we have jumped from 76 to 46. So global innovation index. So means, for example, government is now running for what? Government is running for more and more Atmanirbhar Bharat, right? So Atmanirbhar Bharat need lot of things. You have to create a business environment, right? So there is a one index, ease of doing business, right? So ease of doing business. So this information you can not only just remember for the tier 1 part, but this kind of the factual information you can effectively use in descriptive paper. If the question is about write a short note on Atmanirbhar Bharat, right? So you can mention these kind of the information. They are very helpful, right? And there are some smart people who are not going to ask this question, global innovation index, what was the India's rank, because they know that all of you are going to have this thing in mind. They are going to ask who publish global innovation index report. And they will ask in this manner, recently global innovation index report was published and India's rank was 46. Who published this report? Answer: it's not just a tiebreaker, it's a knee breaker. Right? It's not a tiebreaker, it's a knee breaker. It is going to give you the clear cut edge. World Intellectual Property Right Organization, WIPO. It's a UN designated agency, United Nations designated agency, WIPO. They publish each and every year this global innovation index, and under that they'll just study in which country how many number of patents is being registered, right? So on that basis they will form a report, and if higher number of patent is being registered from your country, that means your country, your government is more helpful towards what, innovations. You are encouraging for the innovations. That is why your rank is high, right? And these innovations are basically help to increase the business prospects. So that is why business prospects, economic growth, generating more number of employment, all these things are related. Even startups are also related. You can see here, he is making statement. Goyal, our Minister of Commerce and Industry, he's saying that almost 4 startups are recognized in India every year, with 45% belonging to tier 2 and tier 3 cities. Right. So this is an important statement in context of number one, tier 1 information. So those students who always feel that this is only for the tier 1, this is only for the tier 1, it's not like that. It is only for the tier 1. The information, the thing which you are going to put in your mind, you can effectively use those facts and data when you are going to write the descriptive part, So it is not dejected, means it is not going to be worthless. You can use in the very effective manner when you are writing in the descriptive part, right? For example, any question related to this startup, any question related to Atmanirbhar Bharat, any question related to how to accelerate the economic growth. To accelerate the economic growth, India has to push for what? India have to push for the startups or self-employment kind of the services, and for that, innovation is very important role. Last few years, India have improved, but we have to do a lot more, right? So in this way, you can add the information, right? So some practice is required, but this information definitely help you. Okay, now move towards next news. It is news, means it is related to budget, and I just want to tell you few basic things before when we are going to discuss the budget. I was telling you in the last session, means yesterday I was telling you I'll take a separate session on the budget, means I'll discuss each and everything, but just for a starter, that information can be useful. This information is very useful and important. 56 central ministries department distributed through 102 demand for grants. So that can be straightforward question in budget. For how many ministries and department the budget is being prepared? Answer is 56. This data you have to keep in your mind, important data. 56 ministries, right? And in one way, it's like kind of what? It's like the irrelevant information or irritating information. How I keep this information in my mind, but no alternative solution. You have to keep it. So 56 central ministries and department, for their needs, government is going to present budget expenditure, means whatever government is going to spend in the budget, in the financial year budget 2023, whatever the spending of government of India, that spending is going to be happen through this 56 ministries. So all spending, suppose that government of India is saying that we are going to spend 14 lakh crores in FY 2023. So that 14 lakh crores are going to be spent by these 56 central ministries and departments, right? This is what the term demand for grants. We are demanding grants. So the expense, any budget, have two parts. One is expenditure and other is what? Other is receipts. Receipts part, right? So when I was discussing RBI's function, right? Under the RBI function, I told you RBI functions are the bank to the government of India. That means RBI maintains the accounts of the government of India. Then I told you government of India have basically three kind of the account: consolidated fund of India, contingency fund of India, and public account fund of India. Under consolidated fund of India, I told you that you cannot withdraw any money from consolidated fund, or you cannot put any money in the consolidated fund without permission of the parliament. Permission of the parliament should be in the form of what? In the form of bill. You have to pass the bill. So all expenditure and receipts, all expenditures and receipts of government of India shall be from consolidated fund of India, right? This expenditure and receipt should be from consolidated fund of India. And in order to withdraw money from this account or deposit money to this account, you need to take permission of parliament by law. And to make a law, you have to present a bill. And the bill which is having the expenditure part, the bill which is having the expenditure part of the budget, it is known as demand for grants. So what is demand for grants? Demand of grants is an expenditure part of the government of India presented under the budget. Now question is why you have to present the demand for grants. The reason is all expenses and receipts shall be from Consolidated Fund of India, and as per constitution, if any expenses or receipts from the consolidated fund, you need to take the permission of whom? You need to take the permission of parliament, and parliament through by making a law, and for law you present the bill, and the bill which is related to expenditure is known as demand for grants. Clear this point? Is this point is clear? What is demand for grants? Okay. So next thing which I want to tell you, if you understood this thing, so when we say demand for grants and government is saying that demand for grants is 14 lakh crores, is 14 lakh crores. So in the budget, government said that we will spend 14 lakh crores in 2022-23 financial year. Okay. In 22-23 financial year, starting from 1st of April 2022, ending by 30th March 2023, we are going to spend 14 lakh crores. So this amount is known as budget estimate. This is known as budget estimate. Okay. So just giving you an example, under this 14 lakh crores, Government of India said that we will spend 5 lakh crores on defense. Right. So Government of India said 5 lakh crores we are going to spend on defense. Right. So they will mention in the budget कि our total expenditure, our total demand for grants for 56 central ministries and department is 14 lakh crores, and out of that, demand for grants for defense ministry is 5 lakh crores. Demand for grants for defense ministry is 5 lakh crore, right? So this is what you are going to express in the parliament. And this is not first time, every year government do the same thing. So that means what? For financial year 2021 to 2022, government also definitely did the same thing. So here example is what? In 2021-22, just give an example. Government said that 12 lakh crore will be spent in entire financial year. So total demand for grants is 12 lakh crore, and out of that 12 lakh crore, we are going to spend 4.5 lakh crores on defense. Right? We are going to spend 4.5 lakh crores on defense. Okay? Acha, tell me one thing. By 1st of Feb, when finance minister is going to present the budget, is this financial year is over? Is this financial year is over? Yes or no? By 1st of February 2022, this financial year is not over at yet. Right? That financial year is not over at yet. Okay. So when finance minister is going to make an announcement, so she is not just only going to make an announcement of upcoming financial year. She is not going to make an announcement only for upcoming financial year. She is also going to make an announcement ki, dear sir, madam, whosoever she is, means in the parliament, Lok Sabha speaker, respected sir, we have, see how she is going to make a statement. She is going to make a statement कि for financial year 2022-23 we have budget estimate of 5 lakh crores. 5 lakh crores for financial year 2020. Very carefully listen my statement. For financial year 2022-23 we are going to spend 5 lakh crores. Whereas for financial year 2021 2022. 2021 2022, we have a budget estimate of this amount. Until then 30th of December, till then 30th of December, we have spent 3.5 lakh crore rupees. 3.5 lakh crore rupees, and we think that we are going to spend only 4 lakh crore rupees, or we already spent 4.5 lakh crore rupees, we need more money. So when you present a budget, you give a budget estimate of coming financial year. Budget estimate of coming financial year, whereas you also provide estimates of ongoing financial year, ki what we told at the time of presentation of budget, that amount, but till then date we have spent this amount and we expect we will spend this final amount. So the idea is revised estimate. So at the time of budget presentation, budget estimate, then revised estimate. So if I'm saying that is 2023 financial year, okay, so 2023 financial year, so here budget estimate of 2022 and 2023 will be presented, but at the same time government will also provide the data in terms of revised estimate of 2021 2022, right? Understood? Understood? Because I have to add one more thing, that's why I'm asking. Okay, so in financial year 2022-23 budget, government is presenting budget estimate of 2023 and presenting the revised estimate of 2022. Okay, but at the same time there is also final estimate of 2021. See, I'll show you the metrics. When government is going to present the budget? 1st February, right? 1st February, and that is budget for 1st April 2022 to 31st March 2023, right? And what is the date? 1st of February, and that is 1st of February 2022. That means what financial year is going on? The financial year is going on 1st April 2021. This financial year started 1st April 2021 and it is going to wind up by 31st March 2022. And at the same time, 1st April 2020 to 31st March 2021 financial year over, going on, will come. So when you will present a budget, you actually provide the three data. One, the financial year is over. Second, the financial year going on. Then upcoming. So here will be budget estimate, here will be revised estimate, and here will be final estimate. This is the final amount what we have spent. Okay? Clear? Right. And now another important term economic survey. So survey is of what? What you have spent, what you have finally spent, what you are spending right now, right? What you have completely spent and what you are spending right now. On that basis, we are expecting this is going to be the health of Indian economy. So that estimation is based on what we did in last year. So we survey those things, and on the basis of that survey, we will give our expected estimations about Indian economy. So for that, we present the economic survey. Got it? Why economic survey? Very good. Now let's move to this. See, this news is not very important, only this part. Renewable energy players to add 16 gigawatt capacity in the financial year 2023. This news is not very important, but this news is very important. India means government of India did this thing. Target. Right. Government of India does this thing. Our target is to have 500 gigawatt capacity of energy by which year? 2030. Our Prime Minister went to COP summit, and there he has made the promise by 2030 India is going to have 500 gigawatt renewable energy sources by 2020 30. So this is the statement which is very important. You have to keep in your mind. That is why I have mentioned here. So lot of time this news will come. Again and again, again and again, this news will come. Right. And for a particular year, this kind of the information. Suppose that India in 2020, India added 6 gigawatt. Right. In 2021, India has added 7 gigawatt. Right. Again, 2022, India has added 8 gigawatt. Now for 2023, your target is almost double. So this is looking very ambitious target. So when things are ambitious, it is going to draw the attentions of all, right? So this is how we have to pick and focus on the information. When any information is showing some high ambitions, right? So that is going to attract the attention of all, right? So this is why we have to keep eyeing on those datas. But as of right now, it's nothing unusual to add 16 gigawatt capacity, right? What is important here to have this thing in your mind? India is targeting 500 gigawatt renewable energy target by 2030 because India have made this commitment in COP16 summit. Can you tell me where this summit was happened? Without searching on internet, without searching on internet, who can tell me where this meeting was happened? Glasgow, UK, Scotland. Very good. Glasgow. Okay. Now this anti-dumping. So just want to tell you two things here. What is anti-dumping? I hope many of you know that already. Anti-dumping is what? But anti-dumping and how anti-dumping is sometimes related to what? Subsidies, right? So suppose that uh, manufacturing cost manufacturing cost of good A is 100 rupees, right? And after taxes and duties by your country, means I'm talking about China, right? So After imposing taxes and duties, it go to 120 rupees in India. So your taxation and our taxation, finally this good is priced at 120 rupees in India. And whereas Indian made product like same similar product X and A are similar and identical product, right? Similar and identical product. So what China did in order to gain the market access of Indian market, here the market price is also 120 and Chinese product is also at 120. China deliberately decreases this taxes and duties, right? Deliberately decreases this taxes and duties in order to make their product in Indian market around 110 rupees, so that you will get the price advantage. So deliberately you have decreases the taxes and duties, right? Or you have started giving the subsidies to your manufacturer. Subsidies means what? If you will go for this thing, we will decrease the price of electricity and other things in terms of, or you are providing some incentives, right? For example, you are providing some money to your producers so that they can do the production. So this subsidy, right, this subsidy and decrease in the taxes and duties is going to make your product in the Indian market at the price of 80, right? So definitely your industry is going to be what? Your industry is going to be severely impacted. Then in order to make the price of this good at Indian market price, India is going to put anti-dumping duty. Anti-dumping duty of how much? 40 rupees to make this product again at the price of 120. So here the motive of subsidy is very important. With what motive you are giving the subsidy? If you are giving the subsidy to make your producers sustainable in your country, you want to make your product sustainable in your country, you want to make your industry sustainable, it can survive in your country, that's why you are giving the subsidy. For example, in India, poor farmers, they cannot survive, so that's why government is giving the subsidy. But if government of India will start giving the subsidy so that our farmers can sell their product in foreign countries market at cheaper price and gain the market, then it will be come under the category of what? Dumping. The objective is what? To gain unfair thing. So there will be the conflict between what India is understood and what China is understood. So if there will be the conflict, then they can go to WTO, and WTO will investigate the case, and on the basis of investigation they are going to give their verdict, right? So this is why WTO was formed, the primary principle of the WTO. But how we will investigate? How we will investigate ki this is unfair practice by China? For that we have Directorate General of Trade Remedies, and this comes under Ministry of Commerce and Industries. Ministry of Commerce and Industries, that will come under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, and they will investigate ki is it fair practice or not. If it is not fair practice, then you can go for anti-dumping duty on those products. However, the other country, for example, here it is mentioned countries like China, Japan, and Korea, right? China, Japan, and Korea. Then in that case, these countries can go where? WTO, to make an appeal what India is doing, or they will also do the tit for the tat. Means they are also going to put some anti-dumping duties on products sent by India. So these are the trade relations between two country, trade relations, and there is a lot of discussions going on whenever we have a kind of discussion with Korea, Japan. So when Russian president will come to India, we will discuss about what? Missile, bomb, right? Frigates, warships. So the defense relation is going to be discussed in this manner. That is going to dominate our discussion with Russia. Whereas when the Japanese Prime Minister or Indian Prime Minister will go to Japan or Korean Prime Minister, so here not only those things, this thing is going to be discussed, right? So in this way, you have to understand. Ram Tilak, I want to join the course. I want to know that you are teacher both ESI and finance. Yes, I am the teacher. ESI and finance. I am Thanos. I am going to have all these things, means ESI and finance in my hand. You can be what? You can be Iron Man, but I am right now Thanos. I am going to take this ESI and this part. Neha is saying selling goods in the international market at lower rate. Yes. Grabbing other market. Yes. Sir, issue which is highlighted now among the India, Australia, Brazil regarding, yes, yes, very good. Also argue the Indian WTO. What really happened? Really happened the same thing. India is giving a lot of subsidy to their sugarcane farmer. See, the elections are coming to UP, right? We will waive off your loans. We will do this thing. We will do that thing. Minimum price, minimum support price. All these things are what? They are saying the same thing. Brazil, Australia, they are also produce the sugar and they are saying the same thing. In India, sugar is very cheap. Why? Because government is providing the subsidy and it is unfair for Brazil and Australia to sell their product in the Indian market. Sell their product in the Indian market. That is why. Yes, Neha, I will take both for this exam. So those who are interested to purchase this program and they find my teaching is helpful for them, I really appreciate. Means thank you. And for the purchasing of this program, you can contact to the numbers given in our YouTube channel. From there, you can go for subscription if you want. Yes, obviously, credit will waiving off is going to be impact credit culture. Yes, this is all about the Indian politics. But the problem is whoso is getting this. See, some report was coming from one state where the election is due. I'm not going to put the name. I'm not going to make it controversial. So I'm not going to name of the state. But their farmers are waiting. They are not paying their dues. They are waiting because all the governments have promised if I will come to the power, I will waive off the loan. If I will come to the power, I will waive off the loan. So they are not paying their dues to the banks. They are just waiting. The election will be over and announcement will be made by the government. So what is the need to pay the dues to the bank? This is happening. This is actually happening. Banks are complaining despite they have the money, they are not going to pay because they know that government is going to waive it off. Right? So this is the one of the big case. Thank you, Neha. So moving towards to next news is what MCA, not Master of Computer Application. MCA means what? Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Ministry of Corporate Affairs now focusing of ease of exist. Ease of exit, not exist, ease of exit. Right? Ease of exist and ease of exist. Right? Here was their focusing ease of EXIS, sorry, EXITS, right? So what is the focus? Their focus is right now, if you want to come to do the business, you can come and do the business here, right? So to start your business, whatever the things are required, we will try to facilitate in the easiest manner. Second, you have started your business, you want to sustain, we will try to provide all the kind of facilities so that you can sustain your business. And if in any case, if you are not able to do your business, same way I will try to create such kind of the facility so that you can easily go out of the business. So initially, what was the focus? To allow the smooth entry for doing business in India. Then focus is so that they can sustain here. And if in any case they are not able to sustain, then smooth exit also. So the point is what? I am a foreign investor. I am thinking to do the business in India, but I also have the risk perception. Risk perception ki if I'll start the business, whether it is going to be fruitful or not. So I thought that ki, okay, India is providing a lot of good services to enter the business, but to sustain the business, things are very difficult. Second thing, India is providing good opportunity to start the business and doing the business. But if any case, because of any reason, I have to wind it up my business, that's very difficult. So it's business is always having the risk element of higher loss than profit, right? This is all about business. So if I'll do that thing and I'm not able to smoothly come out of the business, it's going to be very difficult. So ease of doing business is not just allow them to start the business. Ease of doing business also comprise of start the business, do the business. If in any case you want to exit, you can exit. Right. So all these things now under the focus of what? Ministry of Corporate Affairs. So they came up with what? Ministry of Corporate Affairs, MAC 21. So in MAC 21, they are providing e-governance kind of the solution. Means all the facilities and services can be availed from the government of India for business, start, work and exit kind of the things we are trying to provide through what? Through uh, e-governance, electronic governance, means they are available through the electronic channel rather than going for physical man, right? So under this, it is right now MAC 21 version 3. MAC 21 version 3.0. So under 3.0 version, what we are trying to do, we are trying to provide those solutions through that you can easily work in our country, and if you want to exit, you can exit, right? So this is about MAC 21 version 3. So we stand for version 3.0. Okay. Now, Indian bank collect taxes, right? Indian bank collect taxes. This is not very important. The important is appointed as an agency bank of RBI. What is agency bank? So I just want to explain you agency bank. Though if you are going to appear any exam in next 3 months, 3 to 4 months, and no other bank is going to get this status. No other bank in between is going to get the status of agency bank. Then that is potential question for your upcoming tier 1 exam, right? Upcoming tier 1 exam for GA, for any bank related, whatever they are going to conduct. It is important for any bank exam. Which of the following bank recently got the status of agency bank from the RBI? Answer is South Indian Bank. And a few months back, the status was also given to IndusInd Bank. But latest it is given to South Indian Bank. Now point is what we understand from agency bank. Agency bank, I told you, Reserve Bank of India. Reserve Bank of India is what? Reserve Bank of India is government bank, right? I already explained you this thing in the previous lectures, but the term I have not used there, right? So RBI works as a government bank, and some of the business was transacted by RBI through commercial banks, and especially those commercial banks who have the status of scheduled bank. So, if any bank got authorization to do some business which is the business of RBI, but they are being allowed to do those business on the behalf of Reserve Bank of India, then they are known as agency bank. And RBI properly notify this thing in the circulars. Now this bank is also come under the category of what? agency bank. That means you are being allowed. So here the news is RBI authorized South Indian Bank to collect taxes. Two kind of the taxes. One is direct taxes, Central Board of Direct Taxes, Central Board of Indirect Taxes. Both these two comes under the Ministry of Finance, Department of Revenue, right? So anyone who want to pay their taxes, right, especially indirect taxes, for that they can take the services of South Indian Bank also. What it means that South Indian Bank on their banking portal, they can also, you can pay your taxes from our bank. Earlier, you was not able to do because you do not have any status to collect the taxes on the behalf of Reserve Bank of India or means for the government of India. RBI is a government bank, so RBI have to collect, but RBI cannot transact the business everywhere. So RBI give this work to other agency. That agency, जैसे होता है ना, means travel agency. I have a travel agency. So on my behalf, he is going to take you that place. That my driver and my car is going to take you at that place, and he'll provide the services. So I'm running the agency, travel agency. So similarly, RBI is running an agency banks, and government functions are being performed through those banks. That is agency bank status. Nothing like very complicated. I hope this agency bank is clear. Agency bank is clear. So mediator is a kind of term when two people have conflict, right? Then when two people are conflicting each other and you want to make them keep okay, there is no need to fight. You can agree on this terms and conditions. You can agree on this terms and conditions. Then that mediator term is used, right? You are working on their behalf, right? So agency word is more appropriate rather than mediator. Sekhar Suman, KBL software use is the TDS Saral. My bank is an agency bank too. Which is your bank? KBL, can you explain? Okay, so I'll wait for Shikha's answer. This news is what? This news is important in terms of what? I have given you the example of South Korea. I have given you the example of South Korea. When South Korea, just go to that news. South Korea have what? CEPA. South Korea have CEPA, and because of CEPA, investment is more fruitful for Korean companies in India. So POSCO is going to invest right now $5 billion. But back in 2010, this POSCO company dropped a bombshell when they said that we are going to invest $12 billion in India to establish a steel plant at Odisha. But because of land acquisition and a lot of issues, they are not able to materialize this uh, investment. Now they have an agreement with Adani Group, and now they are going to establish a steel plant where Mundra. Right, so Mundra, they are going to. So this is the facts-based information you have to keep in your mind. Ki Adani Group means POSCO. POSCO. Why POSCO? POSCO is very important because they have announced and they have tried. They have tried a lot, but because of land acquisition related issues, finally they backtrack. But again, they are going to invest. And $5 billion investments are one of the biggest. Means it's a big amount, very big amount. And steel plant itself is what? A big industry. So you have to keep this thing in mind. POSCO, Mundra. 5 billion is not important. POSCO, Mundra, and South Korean company. POSCO is a South Korean company. They are going to have a steel plant in India at Mundra. Where is Mundra? Gujarat, with Adani Group. So these four information are important, right? Karnataka Bank Limited. Okay, Shikhar. Thank you. So I took little bit extra time. So all this information till then, this information was till then 20th, right? So from 21st onwards, I'll come on Sunday. Means this time I have taken on Monday, but next time I'll take this session on Sunday, and on Sunday I'll explain whatever the news till then. Saturday. I hope that session was fruitful session for you, and you spent almost 1.5 hours with me. So I'm thankful to you, and I hope you got the good understanding of this thing. So I'm going to wind up today's session. Tomorrow I'll start with regular session. Means at 9 I'll start with the banking system part because monetary policy is over. Thank you, Shekhar. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Chetan. I'm going to wind up the session. Good night to all of you.